Hello everyone, myself Monica Rajkumar, doing my second term in Master of Civil Engineering in the Geomatics concentration at Florida Atlantic University. This project has been carried out for the course Directed Independent Study for summer 2021. The aim of the research project is to develop an automated model to perform land use land cover classification using UAS imagery. Two different approaches were carried out during this research, which is scene classification and semantic segmentation. The geographic region of interest for this project is the Jupiter Inlet Lighthouse Outstanding Natural Area, which is JILONA in short, and is located in the northern Palm Beach County on the Atlantic coast of South Florida. JILONA is one of the parts of Bureau of Land Management's 27 million acre national conservation lands and being the only complete unit in east of Mississippi River. It is actually situated 14 miles north of West Palm Beach, and the total land cover area of JILONA region is about 120 acres of open space. Very high resolution unmanned aircraft system imagery is used for this research work, which is collected using the drone with MicaSense multi-sector sensor package during September 2020 and 2018 also, for two separate regions, namely JILONA North and JILONA South. The data pre-processing for the drone data has been done using the Pix4D software, which resulted in the ortho imagery of the particular area. So moving on to the first approach, which is scene classification. It is actually a deep learning technique in which scenes from the collected imagery data are classified categorically. When object-based method classifies a prominent object in the foreground, scene classification utilizes the layout of the available objects within the given image along with the ambient context. It is often referred to as scene analysis or scene recognition. Accuracy of several scene-based models like MobileNet, DenseNet, ResNet, Exception, EfficientNet, like these models are being compared during this research work. For scene classification, a total of 9 classes were chosen, namely cabbage palm, grassland, ground, mangrove, parking lot, road, sand pine, scrub oak, and sea grape. This map here shows the verified training samples with respect to the ground truth. All the collected 256 by 256 training samples were then subjected to a certain method called image augmentation. Image augmentation is actually a technique in which existing datasets gets altered so that more amount of data gets generated for model training processes. Some techniques like rescaling, horizontal flip, shear range, zoom range, rotation range, and brightness range. So all these type of techniques are being used in order to enlarge the data set. Some of the results of augmentation process is shown in this figure as you see here. Finally, the whole data set was split into two major category, 80% and 20%, so that the 80% was allocated to training, and in that 20%, 10% was allocated for validation, and the remaining 10% for testing purposes. Also, all the models for scene classification was trained for about 50 epochs. Initially, the model was trained using CPU, which nearly took many days, and hence the GPU was set up during the latter part of the project. This chart explains the time taken for each scene classification model in the GPU utilizing the Tesla T4 GPU. As you see here, the VGG19 and DenseNet 201 took the most time, whereas the MobileNet V2 took lesser time. The average accuracy of all the scene classification models were found to be nearly 93%. As you can see in the chart, the EfficientNet B5 and the DenseNet 201 is proven to be the best scene classification model for JILONA region with an accuracy of nearly 97%. In contrast to that, VGG19 scored the least accuracy percentage of 85.5%. In the same way, MobileNet has 90.6, ResNet 152v2 has 95.1, Inception v3 secured 91%, Inception ResNet v2 scored 91.8, and Exception got a 95.4. So all the scene classification models accuracy were compared as a result of the first approach. So the second approach is semantic segmentation, which is a pixel-based classification. In this approach, each individual pixel is utilized in the classification task in order to define a land cover class. As there exists a difference among each pixel of the imagery, like for example, as you see in the image here, each individual pixel or a group of pixels for cat or cow, grass, sky, so whatever class you take, for each and every class it is different from one another. The pixel value will be different from one another, which can be segmented. So that is the semantic segmentation. And in this approach, two models, custom unit and satellite unit, was examined, and which model found to be the best was chosen. For semantic segmentation, the north and south imagery was trained separately. For north, 8 classes were considered, whereas for south only 7 classes were considered. So these are the classes for north and south. Nearly 30% of the training data has been collected separately for north and south region for the JILONA through ArcGIS Pro from the existing output of support vector mission classification, since since a classification map is required for giving us an input for UNet model to extract the training samples. The dataset were then artificially expanded through a process called image augmentation, which we already saw for scene classification. The three main chosen combination, like the band combination, was red, green, blue, green, red, near infrared, and blue, green, red, red edge, and near infrared. So these three band combination were compared, and from that comparison, it is found that the 5 band combination were proven to be the best model. Several iterations of model parameters using hyperparameter tuning were carried out in order to determine the best semantic segmentation model for this particular JILONA region. For example, the number of layers, learning rate, batch size, optimizer. So all these hyperparameters were tuned in such a way to determine which is the best model for segmentation. So as you see here, custom unit with all 5 bands containing 5 number of layers at 0.01 learning rate, having 64 as its batch size, using Adam optimizer, trained for about 2500 epochs, along with the augmented images, secured the best result. Also, the one main thing to be noted is the model gave better accuracy when both north and south were separately trained, because another experiment was made by mosaicing both north and south imagery and training that. So than that mosaiced image, north and south when separately trained gave better accuracy. So this chart explains the training time of each model in 3 different combinations, and this is actually done using the Tesla T4 GPU. The testing samples of north and south of the JILONA region can be visualized in the maps here. This is the testing samples of same as SVM, so that the accuracy can be compared easily. So though different type of hyperparameters tuning were done and several models were developed, the top 6 model were chosen for south and north, all 5 bands, RGB and GR-NIR combinations. In this table you can see the individual accuracy percentage of each class in south and north. The overall accuracy of 3 major results of the study and the currently existing SVM results are being discussed in this table. It is evident that the custom unit, when trained using all 5 bands, outperformed all the other combination of bands with 97.02 north accuracy and 91% in south accuracy. So the results are here. For north, this is the output for RGB combination, this is for GRNAR combination, and this is the result of all 5 bands for north imagery. Similarly for south, you can see here RGB, GRNAR and all 5 bands results. So here we can see how the SVM and unit method differs from each other. As you see here in original image, the palm tree and the sand pine are not classified properly in SVM, whereas in unit it is perfectly classified. Similarly here the ground has some misclassification with the trees, whereas in unit it has perfectly classified. And also in these two imagery, as you see, the palm tree is being confused with respect to SVM classification, but in unit it's correctly classified. For north region, as same way the ground is misclassified as palm in certain areas, and the bridges, like the ground is not classified in certain areas. So these are all the major change that unit has given us with respect to the SVM classification, which is already available and has a better accuracy. Though this model has a lot of improvements than the currently available result, it also has some misclassification which needs to be improved further. For example, in south region, certain water region have been misclassified as grounds, which needs to be updated. And in the north, there is a patch issue which is existing, so this issue should also be considered, and some changes has to be made so that the model gets improved for, and it results in a better accuracy. The future scope of this project would be an in-depth analysis in order to improve the prediction accuracy of the unit model. Also, the comparison of classification methods can be carried out for various other band combinations of different sensors. Similarly, more hyperparameter tunings can be tuned in such a way the scene classification models as well as the unit model gets improved. And we should also get rid of the patch issues that the classification map is having. However, this study can be extended so that it can be used for various other projects also. I would like to thank the Bureau of Land Management for providing necessary support, which provided funding for data collection for this project. And I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the guidance and support of my professor, Dr. Sudhakar Nagarajan, and a special thanks to Department of Civil Engineering and Environmental and Geomatics Engineering at Florida Atlantic University for allowing me to carry out this research. Yeah, and these are the references of this project. The detailed references has been provided in the project report. Yeah, thank you.